Good morning. I'm Governor Pat McCrory, State of North Carolina. I'd like to welcome each of you for coming, and I'd like to also introduce the people to my left, Secretary Tony Tata, who is our Department of Transportation, Commissioner Baker, who is representing Department of Public Safety, Emergency Management Director Mike Sprayberry, who I just want to compliment, has been doing an outstanding job in preparation for this hurricane, Highway Patrol Colonel Bill Gray, and Adjutant General Greg Lusk. And I'd like to also thank FEMA, who has been in constant contact with this team and with this governor for their cooperation at the federal government level. I also want to let you know that our primary purpose is to protect the safety and health of our citizens and our visitors that are especially visiting North Carolina during the 4th of July weekend. We want to keep also our public safety personnel as safe as possible, so we're of course asking our citizens and those people who are visiting this weekend to be extremely careful, so as also not to put our public safety personnel in unneeded jeopardy. We also are want to let every citizen and every visitor know, please be prepared at this potential time for potential flooding in those areas that we're going to be talking about today, or potential power outages, or potential surges in the water, especially with regards to rip tides in the ocean. We want you to be prepared with safety packages, the amount of water and lighting and flashlights and other things that you should have in a repair emergency kit. We are also letting you know that we are prepared. We've got the best team in the United States in preparing for emergencies. We proved it during the recent ice storms, and we're going to prove it again during this hurricane. We also want to let you know that we're already taking action in preparation to have a very quick recovery and ensuring that we can get back online as quick as possible regarding utility service, water services, roads, transportation, and anything else that needs to be repaired or fixed within a very short period of time. But again, our main issue is the health and safety of our citizens and those people who are visiting North Carolina. Right now, Hurricane Arthur is approximately 200 miles south of Wilmington. The rain and wind effects are expected to start being felt in the Wilmington area early afternoon, with the outer bands of the storm expected to reach the Outer Banks by mid-afternoon. The storm is expected to bring as much as 5 inches of rain to the Outer Banks and less than 1 inch to 3 inches of rain inland. Overwash is expected on a very, very fragile road, and that's NC Highway 12. If any of you have been there, literally outside Highway 12, you literally may have 5 to 10 yards of space between water on both sides. So, of course, we're very concerned about Highway 12, and Secretary Tata will be telling you more about that. As the hurricane moves north, more counties are likely to declare a state of emergency. Several counties are already prepared to open shelters as needed, and you'll be getting reports on which counties have also required mandatory evacuation and also voluntary evacuation, some which we already mentioned last night. Our primary goal, again, is public safety, and the state has taken preemptive measures to be ready. We ask that our citizens and visitors in the eastern part of our state, especially along the coast and especially in the Outer Banks, please listen to your media outlets, weather reports, and your local officials for updates in your area. Have your emergency supply kits and emergency plans ready. And if you haven't already, reference the Ready NC website and download the smartphone Ready NC application on your iPhone or Android device. Ready NC tells you how to prepare an emergency plan and kit and gives real-time regarding updates on weather, water levels, power outages, open shelters, evacuation routes, the list goes on and on. All this information is at the touch of your fingertip, so it's good that you update this, and then the updates will be in real time by our emergency management partners, so you have the latest information possible. And that's very, very important for us to make sure everyone has the latest information. Of course, this holiday weekend, July 4th weekends, is one of the biggest weekends for coastal tourism in the state, and we anticipate a beautiful holiday weekend after the tropical storm Arthur, or the Hurricane Arthur, is out of North Carolina. In fact, I'm planning to still go to Southport, hopefully, for the 4th of July parade on Friday afternoon. But again, we're ready for anything, and our major priority is to make sure we recover from this storm and deal with any public safety issues as quick as possible. The North Carolina Division of Tourism will have its visitors call center open 24/7 starting tomorrow through the duration of the storm. Live operators will offer the latest information and updates at 1-800-VISIT-NC. That's 800-847-4862. Let's hope for the best. Let's pray for the best, that Arthur clears out quickly so we can all get back to celebrating our country's independence with our families and friends on North Carolina's beautiful beaches, all the way from the South Carolina border up to the Virginia border. And we have some of the best beaches in the United States of America. And I just want to also say to everyone, stay safe. I've mentioned this before to citizens, don't put your stupid hat on. But I also want to talk to the media. We need the media to help inform you and to form our citizens. But I don't want the media to pull a Dan Rather on us. You don't need to prove to the citizens that wind is powerful by standing out in the wind on a live shot. You don't need to stick your foot in the water to prove that waves are powerful and that can take you out in the ocean. Because even the media can put themselves in danger, that puts our public safety officials in danger. And we don't have to want to make the call to, for a good media shot to have to rescue a member of the media who's trying to get a good shot. So please don't pull a Dan Rather. Do your job, but also recognize you've got to protect yourself, and please tell that to your producers wherever they may be giving you directions. Now I'm going to pass this off to our Law Enforcement Commissioner, Greg Baker, who will go into more detail about our preparations, and then I'll have Tony, and we'll be glad to answer any other questions you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Welcome. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about the Department of Public Safety's role in this effort. Obviously, we have substantial resources committed already through our partners at the North Carolina National Guard. And then, of course, the tip of the spear for us in any emergency situation is our great North Carolina Highway Patrol. Right now we have emergency management led by Mike Sprayberry has stood up our Eastern branch, who is coordinating our efforts, and the resource requests coming through the county officials there here for the governor to approve. Currently, the governor has authorized the deployment of 105 National Guardsmen and about 40 heavy vehicles in support of this operation. We also have 400 state troopers active, involved in the evacuation in Dare County and along the coastal areas. We appreciate very much that evacuation order being issued. Obviously, that helps us tremendously. It helps the Department of Transportation getting these people off when there's an opportunity to get off the ferry systems. We're working with the ferry systems, which the Secretary will go into to ensure a safe and orderly evacuation during this time. Also, as far as resources and water and the essential necessities, we've stood up our center in Kinston and Tarboro, which we're able to deliver water and food and tarps and other necessities that should be needed as we evaluate the storm's impact after it passes. Very critical to us. We have a plan to deliver those goods and those resources to the community, to our citizens. On behalf of the patrol, we would beg you not to drive through high water. To our citizens, most of the serious injuries and deaths that occur as a result of a hurricane event are because individuals choose to drive through high water. As the governor said, don't put your stupid hat on. If you know you need to be somewhere, leave now. Leave when you can get there. If you encounter high water, turn around. There's a very simple mantra there that don't drown, turn around. Very simple to remember. And while you may think that the water is shallow and you can get through it, 6 inches of water can be devastating to a vehicle and put you in a situation where very perilous. So we would ask you to heed that warning. Another thing that we would ask you is please do not call 911 or Star HP to get updates on the weather conditions. We have Ready NC application, as the governor mentioned. It's available to you. We will be updating that constantly to give you information on road conditions and weather conditions as they occur. I'll certainly be available for any questions afterwards, and thank you for being here.
I want to reiterate what the governor said about appreciate the media's helping us get the word out. We had 2 Weather Channel engagements starting at 6 a.m. this morning to help broadcast, and of course our Twitter feeds and our Facebook pages. NC12 Facebook page is very active right now, and certainly appreciate all the media here today. We had an 8:30 conference call this morning with the Coastal Division engineers and the Ferry Division and the communications team, and we have a synchronized plan. As the storm approaches, our team is continuing to help get everyone to safety, and we stand ready to help restore access after the storm, consistent with the governor's priorities. To support the voluntary evacuation for Ocracoke Island, our Ferry Division began emergency operations Tuesday afternoon, and we've adjusted the Hatteras Inlet runs to accommodate more ferries, shuttle, and residents and visitors off the island. We've got 6 ferries instead of just 2, so we pushed 4 ferries to Ocracoke to get them to Hatteras Island or Swan Quarter or Sear Island as necessary to comply with that Hyde County voluntary evacuation. We strongly encourage people to take advantage early this morning of these additional ferries to evacuate Ocracoke before we hit that 35 to 40 mile an hour gale force wind area where we're going to have to shut down the ferry runs for the safety of our personnel. And so also crews in all of the coastal divisions spent the last 2 days checking equipment and loading signs, and remain on standby throughout the storm and stand ready to help power companies clear roads and block the storm damage and help block flooded roadways as needed. With the current storm track, we anticipate, as the governor said, possible overwash along NC12, which is particularly south of the Bonner Bridge. Our Outer Banks team has staged more than 25 additional front-end loaders, motor graders, bulldozers, and other heavy equipment along NC12 from the island of Ocracoke all the way up to Kitty Hawk to help clear sand and water as quickly as possible once conditions are safe. Of course, safety of our residents and employees and visitors is always our top priority. We also know how important it is to get the roads back open so everyone can enjoy the July 4th weekend. There's a critical path to reopening NC12 once this storm passes. One is removing the sand from the road, should there be sand, getting the overwash off the road, should there be overwash. But the keynote in that critical path is for us to get a sonar into Oregon Inlet to check the safety of Bonner Bridge. Last sonar readings, of course, showed the bridge is safe, of course, for evacuation, and all of the vents are above scour critical. So we're in good shape there for the time being. And but that keynote is to get the sonar into the water, and that'll be determined by when we can safely get a boat in the water and we can safely see and conduct the sonar readings of Oregon Inlet. So, and of course, if there's a breach in NC12, we will respond to that as necessary. As of late Tuesday, the Port of Wilmington was operating under condition whiskey, meaning crews were checking generators, light systems, bracing warehouse doors, and tying down equipment and supplies in anticipation of gale force winds. And the Port of Moorhead is actually upgraded to condition Yankee, which means only in and out. If a ship's coming in, it's got to be able to get out to sea. And they're sandbagging and reinforcing warehouse doors and securing cranes. So they're pretty much shutting down for the next 24 to 48 hours. And I want to thank our entire team that has been working so hard over the last 3 days in preparation, and who I know will be working very hard over the next several days to help restore access to the critical parts of the coast, and also to all the county officials that we work so closely with and have such great teamwork with. I want to thank them as well.
Just a few other points we made last night. We have some swift boat rescue teams that are going to be stationed in parts of eastern North Carolina, I believe the Kinston area, that are ready to move at a moment's notice. Remember, this might not just be a coastal situation. We also have some rivers that tend to overflow, especially if we have a stalled storm in eastern North Carolina, which has caused some of the most severe damage in our past history. And we also have the National Guard. I'd like to thank the Guard, many who are in this room here today, who also, we have some trucks that can go through some high water that are ready to rescue people at a moment's notice. But again, the best thing to do is keep yourself out of harm's way so you don't put any of the Guard or other safety personnel lives in jeopardy while trying to make a rescue that frankly wasn't needed if we were smart about what our movement and actions were. So if you're going to take action, take it now. Some of the evacuations started literally at 5 o'clock this morning. And for those areas that are not being evacuated, please hunker down, and we'll all get through this together. So with that, let us answer any questions you have. I have no idea where the terms Yankee and whiskey came from regarding codes. I'm going to have to get that from my Secretary of Transportation at a later point, so I just learned something today too. Yes. We have not gone through that process as of yet. I'm going to take direction.
We'll have to wait and see
Yeah.
What impacts that we have in the state before we can apply for that.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you all very much. Be safe, be smart, and thank you to the media also. Bye-bye. And happy 4th of July.